SFS is for sound again. That's for the forward sound. Next is for reverse. SXS, which is basically, this is for a automated crossing sound. Okay, next, this LMK is for marker lights. This allows you to turn the marker lights on and off. Next, you'll see here more sound options. This is again another sound sequence for number 2. This SSU is for to play a startup sound sequence. This is usually an extended startup sound sequence that you hear, which is different from what you get when you normally press 3. Next is SSD is for shutdown. Again, that is typically an extended shutdown sound sequence that is longer than what you normally get than when you press the number 6. STW is the train wreck sound, which if you press that, the engine goes through a simulated train wreck sound and actually powers the engine down. Okay, and that is all for the soft key buttons. Now if you go to select more, this now brings you to the rest of the menu items that are accessible for this engine. Some of these we've already seen as already pre-programmed soft keys, others we have not. For instance, we've seen the coupler slack sound. Here is an engine sound sequence number 1. This one here allows you to turn the interior light on and off. Here's another idle sound sequence number 1. This is the forward sound. Just an example there. Reverse sound, the crossing sound, marker lights on and off, another engine sound sequence. This is the startup sound sequence, shutdown sound sequence, train wreck sound sequence. Here is the odometer, and this is a nice feature with all Proto-Sound engines and Proto-Sound boards, is that the Proto-Sound board actually maintains a trip and lifetime odometer that tells you how long an engine has, how many scale miles an engine has actually been run. So if we press this button here, we select it, in this case it tells you that this engine over its lifetime has been run 14,140 scale miles. This is actually a good way to indicate how much use has been on an engine, and this odometer setting cannot be reset. So any engine that you buy used on the market will always have this information inside unless the board has actually been replaced. Let me go back.
Alright, add the blower towards the fire.
Okay, next is the chronometer, which this basically tells you how many hours and minutes this engine has been actually been in startup mode. So in other words, that it's been powered up. And in this case, this engine has been 314 hours and 17 minutes.
Make sure we have enough.
All right, next on the item is the engine sound 3. Idle sounds.
There and dip the tank.
Clickety-clack. This basically is a function that allows you to, when activated or set to auto, that when the engine runs and hits to around 25 to 26 scale mile per hour, the chuffing sounds will actually stop and you will hear a clickety-clack sound of the wheels just hitting rail joints. Some people will inadvertently turn this on, and as their engine runs around the track, they think the sound is actually cut off, but when in actuality they've actually turned clickety-clack on. Direction lock is to do just that. It allows you to lock the direction of the engine. So if you wanted to hand the engine over to, or hand the remote over to a kid to run, you can set the direction lock so that they don't change the direction of the engine. Track signal. This is used to do a track signal test as the engine runs around the layout, so you can tell what your levels of communication are as the engine runs around. So we can, like in this case, select that, and you will get a track signal between the scale of 1 and 10, 10 being best. Even if you have signals down to as low as 1, which is basically going to mean low track signal, you still can have perfectly fine track signal communication and communication between the remote and the engine. Again, here we have engine sound sequence 4 and 5. Trip odometer, this is just for, since this engine's been powered up, this will tell you how many scale miles the engine's been run. This is kind of like the lifetime odometer. Here's an idle sound sequence, coupler close sound, 2 more sound sequences, an idle sound sequence. The cab chatter, this allows you to turn, as you just heard the voices speaking, this allows you to turn those voices on and off. There's a conventional mode. Track voltage, this allows you to check to see how many volts that the engine is actually seeing. So in this case, the engine is seeing 22.2 volts. Measure routes, what this allows you to do is to actually go through, and as your engine's running around the track, you can use this to actually measure in scale miles how far that route is that the engine is run. You have a legacy mode, and then again this is for power and control of the engine. You will generally want to stay away from the legacy mode and the command modes with the remote. You really are not going to need to use those. Here again we have more engine sound sequences. Idle sound, there's the maintenance we already talked about. And that covers all of the menu items for the soft keys. Okay, and moving down the remote, and also before we go on here, we'll notice that the S5 button also serves as the remote on-off button. So if you hold this down, it will turn the remote off, and then again hold it down, and it will turn the remote on. Okay, next we see the BL button, which is for the backlight. So if you press that, it turns the backlight on. The first time you press it, it turns it to an auto-off mode, so that once you hit that, it will stay on for so many seconds, and then will automatically turn off to save the batteries. But as you issue a new command, the auto backlight, the light will automatically come on and again turn off. If you want the light to stay on constantly, you can press the backlight button again, and that'll just keep the backlight on constant. To turn it off, hit it again, and it turns it off. The microphone button here, what that allows you to do is that, in fact, if you can see that, at the very top of the remote, there are some grill points. I think we can see that right there. Some grill slits right there. That is actually the built-in microphone. So if you hit the mic button, you can speak into the remote, and your voice will come out through the engine. All aboard! That's kind of a cute feature for the kids. Next we have auxiliary, accessory, switch, and track. I'm going to simply just cover the accessory and the switch. The accessory, this allows you to control the different accessory units and the accessory controls on the AIU, and what you can do is essentially provide named items, line items, to control particular things on the layout. To go to switch, same thing. You essentially can provide line item names for each of your individual switches, and then you can indicate whether you want to have the switch turned or be straight. Alright, moving down for the common controls, you have the bell. Oops, back out of this, hit the menu button to back out. For the bell, you press once to start it sounding, and then press it again to stop it. The engine, this is basically your engine select button. This is what allows you to go in and select what engine you want to control. And then your whistle horn button. If you hold the whistle down for an extended period of time and let it go, you'll get a little bit of an extra retort at the very end on most of the sound files. Next is the thumb key, which of course we've already talked about. This basically allows you to either control the speed of the engine, or to actually control menu items on the screen. Depressing the thumb wheel basically allows you to accept or acknowledge a command. Next, you see the menu button. When you press this, it basically gives you the 4 main menu items. which in this case you have Sound, Control, System, and Advanced. Under Sound, if we press the thumb wheel button, first item on this menu here is the bell volume. So you can independently control your bell, your horn, your engine sounds, and the actual voice sounds within the engine. So for instance, if we wanted to turn down or control the bell volume, press the thumb wheel, starts the sound playing so you can hear what it sounds like currently at this current level, and you can control the sounds in 10% increments, up and down, anywhere from 0 to 100%. This is actually handy for if you're running late at night and you don't want to disturb your neighbors. Next, you can go down, this is the horn volume. Engine sounds. This is basically your chuff and other different sounds. Accent volume. This is basically the voices that you were hearing before of all the people talking. Chuff rate. This is something you generally won't ever change. Chuff rate is typically set at 4 chuffs per revolution, but if you for some reason have a different taste or you want to slow it down or speed it up, you can select anywhere from 1 to 16 chuffs per revolution.
Alright, add the blower or force the fire.
Alright, next you have Proto Chuff, Off, and Auto. And essentially what this does is this will put the engine into labor chuff or drift chuff depending on how quickly you're accelerating or how quickly you're decelerating. In my case, I keep those off. Cab chatter. If you want to turn the voices off, you can either turn the accent volume down to 0, for instance, or you can actually come in here and manually turn the cab chatter off. I tend to keep it on auto. Brakes. If you decelerate your engine quickly, it'll automatically play a squealing brake sound. The clickety-clack, which is what I described earlier, you can also access it through this menu item. Custom sounds, these are sounds that you can actually record yourself, that you can record through the TIU, and you can review through the DCS manual and learn more about that. Doppler loop is again another sound feature accessible through this item. External microphone. This allows you to, when you select this item, it activates the external mic on the TIU so you can speak through that particular microphone as opposed to the mic that's built into the remote. Auto coupler, if you activate this, every time, if you set this to auto, every time you move the engine forward, it plays the coupler slack sound, or backwards. And that's it for the sound menu items.